Ja, nicht jetzt wieder. Okay, so neue Haare. Nehmen wir mal ein Let's Play von Ace Attorney Investigations Prosecutor's Path. So, beim letzten Mal sind wir bei der Simulation stehen geblieben und haben auch ein bisschen Logik benutzt, um so einiges wieder an Erfahrung zu bringen. Das hatten wir dann da zum Beispiel. Hier zum Beispiel diese schöne Konstruktion von Simon, wie er von der Bühne verschwinden kann. So, wir waren ja noch nicht ganz mit der Logik fertig. Deshalb nutzen wir jetzt das und das und gehen jetzt einfach mal davon aus, dass Estik sie alle gefressen hat. Ich gehe jetzt mal davon aus, das wäre für mich ganz logisch. The apples in the crate were probably eaten by Estik.
But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach from Estik's nose.
Are you certain?
Yes, the crate was still full of apples on the night before the show.
Then the cart was moved to where her nose could reach it. With that many apples, it could not have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Oh! Gute Idee! Also wollte irgendjemand dieses Ding haben. Prior to the show, the cart's position was already changed and the apples were all eaten. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, K.
Alright, I'll use the new info to recreate the scene. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Using the info we got from Regina, I'll recreate the scene with the card in its actual place.
Tada!
Recreation complete!
Sehr schön. Gut, wo wir jetzt an dieser Stelle sind. Nur mit einem Stückchen können wir jetzt erstmal nichts mehr mit der Logik anstellen. So. Wo gehen wir jetzt als nächstes hin? Ah, hier, unsere schöne Konstruktion, die ja Simon gebaut hat. Wollen wir doch mal gucken. Mr. Case used this well to perform the stunt where he gets blown away by the elephant. He used those two ropes quite skillfully. Ups, das war Kay!
Kommene.
Two ropes? In the after the show scene. I should use the little thief's new function and change the recreation to double check. Okay. Das ist... Na gut, dann nutzen wir das doch mal.
Yeah, what's up? You want to recreate the after the show scene from yesterday? The after the show scene from yesterday has been recreated.
Okay. Dann wollen wir doch mal jetzt gucken. So, ihm ist was aufgefallen. Er hat was von 2 Seilen gesagt, oder nicht? Moment. Set up for the big stunt during the show uses 3 pulleys, 2 ropes and the well and some weights. 2 Seile. Ah, hier ist aber nur ein Seil zu sehen. Ups, das wollte ich nicht. Ja, können wir das bitte überspringen? Piece of rope? It seems that there is a contradiction with the device. Ja, danke. Darauf wollte ich hinaus. Yep, ist es. Nämlich stimmt es nicht mit der Konstruktion überein. This recreation and the device we saw earlier. There is a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing.
You're right!
Without it, the device won't work.
I wonder what happened to it.
Where did the missing rope disappear to? It's possible that we hold a piece of evidence that shows where the rope went. Which piece of evidence shows where the missing rope went? Moment. Found with the body.
Ist das dieses Seil?
The rope we found with the dead body.
Ah, could it be?
Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here.
Then, does that mean?
This rope was attached to the weight. However, the weight was not one of these metal weights. These weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something else.
If they were replaced, then what was used as the weight?
What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? If we can recall that, then the answer should be clear. Ich hab ne böse Vermutung. The weight that was dropped in place of the weights that Mr. Keyes had prepared was... Lass mich raten. Die Leiche von Knightley. What dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body.
Mr. Knightley's body was used as the weight?
Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keyes used the device to launch himself off the stage. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go, both the body and the rope dropped down the well. The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley. It was used to suspend him inside the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden.
Ah, so that no one would find out that the weights were replaced with the body.
Yes, the killer was the one who hid those weights. But Miles, wasn't Knightley boy stabbed in the neck with the murder weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well? The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item. Which item did the killer use in order to leave no traces of blood behind? Das wäre dann hier dieses Stück Stoff. Es klebt ja noch Blut daran. The sheet we found near the body. It was used to wrap up the body. I see! It looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, huh?
But this means that the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer?
No, that's not necessarily the case.
But yesterday Judge Courtney said...
If Mr. Keyes was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborated device?
I guess you have a point.
Mr. Keyes was only responsible for dropping the body during the show. In other words, it doesn't matter what the real killer was or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed the doubt on the people who did not watch the animal show.
It's true! We also suspected Mr. Dogan.
The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used the device on the well to create a fake alibi. Miss Barry, do you know when this device on the well was set up?
Let me think. The day before the show. I think it was at night. We all started preparing at 9 p.m. We finished at around midnight.
The killer replaced the weights with the dead body afterwards. Oha. Was für eine Konstruktion, alle Achtung. Did Dogan know about the device? No, even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. You can't teach a dog to suspend a body in a well. In other words, Dogen is not the killer. Wie ich schon die ganze Zeit über schon vermutet habe. Alles klar, dann ist das hier schon mal erledigt. This pond is where Warden Roland keeps her pet alligator.
I guess those fish bones are the remains of her last meal.
I don't think an alligator would leave such clean bones.
But she had a very refined looking face. I couldn't
tell at all.
That's because I'm a girl who's good with faces.
Why don't I feel the least bit jealous? Trolalalalalalalal. Was mir gerade auffällt, wenn hier dieser Alligator lebt. War er dann auch schon während der Show da? Ja, möchte ich gerne.
The during the show scene from 2 days ago has been recreated.
Alles klar, dankeschön. Erstmal Kay schieben. Nichts hat sich verändert. Keeps her pet alligator. Okay, es hat sich nicht viel geändert. Und mein Discord hat reagiert. Okay, also es ging jetzt wohl nur um diese Fischgräten. Aber ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass ein Kroko Fisch ist und dann hier noch diese Überreste bleibt. Das muss ein anderes Tier gewesen sein. Naja. Oh. I see what you did there. So, die letzten Logikstückchen sollen dann jetzt auch verbunden werden. This card was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show.
I don't think it was just a coincidence.
Habe ich mal was hingelegt? Keeping that in mind, the question now becomes, why was the card moved? The card used to be in front of the door. I can't think of one reason why.
Somebody opened that door! Alright, let's hurry up and...
The door's locked. Der raucht zu einfach, hä?
Let's ask a guard! Hey, Mr. Guard!
Yes, what is it? That was fast. You there. Where's the key to this door? The warden's in charge of it. I'll get it from her right away. The warden is in charge of the keys here? Without the warden's permission, this door can't be opened.
Thank you very much!
It's a circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room.
On the night before the show, somebody came into this room.
I wonder why they would come here. I don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely to operate the circuit breakers.
So someone came here to shut off the power to something?
Was there anything that had its power shut off? What could have had its power shut off by the breaker? Moment, was mir jetzt gerade einfällt. Wo ist das denn? Ach ja, die Sicherheitskamera. Sie war ja für eine gewisse Zeit ausgeschaltet. The security camera footage had a 3-hour gap.
Ah, I see! The circuit breaker for the security camera was tripped!
It's highly possible.
Was this the killer's handiwork?
With the camera down, it'd be easier to move about. The killer would have a major advantage.
I knew it!
If that's the case, the killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room is... It couldn't be. Soll das heißen, Roland ist die Mörderin? Was hätte sie bitte für ein Motiv? Deactivating the recreation. Investigation complete. Sehr schön. Das hätten wir geschafft. Hm? Ach nö, nicht ihr zwei. Komm. I'm first to the scene as always. Ja. Sagst du zu denjenigen, die wirklich als erster da waren. Idiot. Good morning, Mr. The Best. What? You? How did you get here before me? Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you have arrived early. Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney. I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste. Unlike a certain prosecutor who was taken off the case. Oh, my apologies. I had forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. An assistant can never be the best. You've fallen like the rest. You just say whatever you like, don't you? Let us begin our examination of the courtyard, Sebastian. Alright, I'll call the man over. Das wird nicht nötig sein, wir haben schon alles erledigt, ihr Pappnasen. That will be unnecessary. What? We have already finished the investigation of the courtyard. You've been bested. Bested? Me? Judge Courtney? Your reasoning from yesterday. Watch me shatter it to pieces. I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands? I have had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that does not involve my badge? Despite my repeated warnings, you show no signs of reflection. It seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked. Neither the fate of my badge nor the actions of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Key's innocence. That is all that concerns me. Your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you are willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this. Frau, du machst Angst. Okay, dann wollen wir sie mal auseinandernehmen. Komm. Die Zeit nehmen wir uns noch. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Albert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning. Of course she does! Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report. Babysitting that kid must be difficult. Wunderschön, ja. Oh Mann, ey. Der Beste ist doch scheiße. The time of death was the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the day before the show. The cause of death remains unchanged. A stab wound 4 inches deep. Okay. Tut weh. Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well. She has not investigated the courtyard yet. That means... it seems there is a hole in your argument. You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim? Of course I can, and I will. Oh ja! Wird Zeit! Entkräften! Judge Courtneys reasoning. In diesem Fall, wenn sie... Wo ist das denn? The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Naja, jetzt wo wir hier die Sache mit dem Device wissen... Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There was a device set up around the well here. What is this device of which you speak? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keyes was blown away by the elephant during the show? I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage. He tied one end of a length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole place suspended up in the air? That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the earlier morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device. But didn't Simon Keyes make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree? Nein! If Mr. Keyes were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Barry?
Yes?
Was there anyone else who knew of the device you set up?
Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it.
And there you have it. I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I am even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just. Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that, even now. Providing support to a defense attorney, despite being a prosecutor. It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I'm merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy! Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keyes of murder. Die Frau hört auch einfach nicht auf. Die Musik geht ja schon los. What? Interessant. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob das so gewollt ist oder ein Bug. Egal, es ist auf jeden Fall ein geiler Moment, um hier den Part zu beenden. Das klingt so Arschloch. But it's the truth. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertung immer gern gesehen. Das war's meinerseits und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. See ya, guys!